So what's up, everybody? I am Zack Woodall. This is episode 3, and we really didn't even name this show yet. King Pink named it, and then everybody forgot it. So I hope everybody's enjoying it. We've getting a lot of comments on our page. We greatly appreciate those comments. The suggestions are wonderful. We appreciate it. Again, we're still working on the overhead cam. We're Kentucky boys, so it might be a minute before we do get to that. But while we are working towards that, we're going to continue to do it this way because, one, we really enjoy doing this. Two, we are thoroughly enjoying your feedback, so we greatly appreciate that. That's a big reason we continue to do so with this video cast, if you will. So again, I am Zack Woodall. You may know me as King Greatness. Tonight, our special guest is Dustin Garmon, maybe better known as the Devil's Rejects leader himself, GPS. Dustin, thank you so much for playing with me.
Pleasure, man.
Absolutely. So I am going to be representing King Greatness once again, and then of course Dustin Garmon playing himself. If you have your own character, why not, right? So that's what we're doing here this evening. So we're going to get going, and Dustin, for me, looking at this game, it was easy for me and Keith and Pink to get into this game. And when I say it was easy, it was because, and it would so help if I had to die. And I'm going to try to get an assistance. Outstanding. I'm going to need another die. All right. So, hey, we just do one takes, right? No, but what I'm saying is, at Gen Con, we had an opportunity to really see the game firsthand before it was as big as what it was last year or this year, or even 3 years ago now, you know. So this was our 4th Gen Con, and we played it at our first ever Gen Con, technically Keith's 5th Gen Con. But we were in love with wrestling, and for us, I rolled a 9.
I wrote 6.
All right. But for us, it was simple. So I'm going to activate the Kickstarter Championship belt. Put that on over, and I'm going to play a jump kick that can't be stopped. What was it that got you into this game? I know Philip brought you over, you know, the
Yes.
Chester, for those of y'all looking for his card. But Philip brought you over, and we played it forward pretty hard too, you know, helping you out with some decks, some new decks. But what was it that made this game, like, okay, I love this game for you?
Well, as you know, from 4 years old to even higher, I was a big wrestling fan, man. It just, the Attitude Era, everybody was kicked in. It was all hype, dude.
So who was your Attitude Era, dude?
Ah, man. Back then, it was so hard. I mean, even the heels you just loved.
So who was your dude? Everybody has a dude.
I want to say Stone Cold.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's an easy one, right? For sure. So jump kick hit.
7.
Mine's a 9. But continue, you know, what was it? You know, was it just the wrestling vibe? You getting to play a wrestling card game? Because there's other wrestling games out there. What was it about Super Show?
Man, I played video games most of my life. I didn't know much about card games.
Okay.
And so I was kind of iffy. I was really iffy.
Okay.
And all I remember is the feeling as soon as I came here and y'all brought me into y'all's home and I felt like I was at home. I love wrestling, like I said, and y'all gave me a deck. Y'all helped me with a card. I mean, you made me.
So who was your first deck?
AR Fox.
AR Fox. Okay.
Didn't even have the finished grapple, I'll add. But
well, speaking of grapples, follow-up grapple. I'm trying to play the Lariat takedown there on GPS.
It goes through.
So I flip 1 and shuffle 2 and draw 2. But so you had AR Fox, and I mean, AR is a good deck. You know, I mean, he's situational for sure. I know at one time we had that, you know, kind of conversation about situational gimmicks. And really all gimmicks are situational. You know, you have to do whatever you're going to have to do to hit that gimmick. But we talked about really situational gimmicks, and we talked about more often situational gimmicks. And from there, your play style has been very one-sided. And this is not a disrespect. This is you can kind of tell how you go with the characters that you go with. You're very much about manipulating turn rolls, whether that's you boost your turn rolls, whether that's you have a better turn roll. Your guys you love are like D2. You love Numero Un, who you've had great success with here recently. Even your guy has an opportunity to differentiate turn rolls. So tell us, why is that the strategy that you've gone with, other than like maybe a draw deck or a flip deck, or why is that your strategy primarily going in?
One reason I make it my strategy is this. I think the main game is it makes it so unpredictable. It's turn rows, of course. Well,
Right.
everybody says that.
Right.
But
8.
6. What I want to, like, my style of playing is I want to mess with those turn rows. The more turns you got, like right now you got a lead and a follow-up out on me.
You got a big lead right now. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it's hurt my gimmick. I'm rolling bad. But also, like with Numer, anytime you roll your 10, my turn roll is +2.
Right.
And the feeling that I get that fuels me playing these people is
Lead, strike, knee lift, draw 2.
that goes through.
Okay.
But the feeling that I get is when I see that, oh, I rolled a 10, you rolled a 9, I can sit here and say my turn roll is +2, 11.
Right.
And the feeling from seeing y'all, like, hate the style that I play with, it fuels me to play these
I
characters.
will say this. Hate's a strong word, but you play D2 a whole bunch.
Yes.
Which, for those of you that don't know, D2's gimmick is if you roll 2 or less, it's a +2 or
If I roll 2 less, it's +2, so bump.
you're gonna bump, right? So, like, this drives me absolutely bonkers. Okay, like I'll beat him when Dustin and I play. It's like I beat him by 2 forever. But the story that I'm getting to is I played a D2 at Gen Con, and I said, "Oh my gosh, D2, why me? Here I go. I'm gonna have to lose to D2 because I have a poor record against D2, right?" So I sit down with this guy, and I'm just loathing him immediately. Just don't like this guy for whatever reason. We got to be cool pretty quick, but like immediately, I'm like, "Oh, D2, I hate you," But he's like, "Oh no, don't hate me, Tim." But I was like, "Man, I hate D2. We got a guy back home. Of course, I'm meeting you that plays him all the time, and I did terribly against him. I'm always rolling. If I roll an 8, he rolls a 6. If I roll a 10, he rolls an 8. And I said, the best thing that I could do is beat you fast as possible just to get out of here. And he said, well, okay. And like literally, like the only game that I played in Worlds that I literally played like a lead, follow, finish, roll great for the finish. He didn't kick out. I was done. I said, thank goodness that it happened against D2, right? So that was exciting for me. But finish the mission, sharpshooter.
Sadly, that goes through.
But your strategy early on wasn't that, right? It was to win by count out.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
The count out. It's very 1, 10.
So I rolled 9 on my finish roll. He hit the 10. Crowd meter bumps up by 1.
The count out for me, I mean, it's really, like, for me, it's hard to even say because I've won a bunch of games throughout by count out. And I wrote a 5.
We bumped on 5s.
But for me, it's kind of hard to describe because a lot of times I don't mean to.
Right.
It's kind of like a last minute thing for me.
8.
6. And, like I said, turn rows, a lot of times, like even my guys, when you're talking about the turn rows, messing with you and stuff like that, I'm constantly drawing.
Yeah.
I mean, even GPS, it draws 2 and discards going. So I'm flying through these decks,
Right.
whether we're bumping or my gimmick kicks. And most of the time I've got, lesser cards in my deck than you. And a lot of times, if you got 7 cards, I got 3 cards in my hand, a lot of times I go for that.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a good strategy, but it's a risky strategy. How many times you shot it? Go ahead, stop it.
Yep. Play it lockup.
Yeah, it stops it. Whatever. But, a lot of times that's a risky strategy because, especially late game, are you more looking for that early game, mid game, late game? When I say late game, I'm talking like crowd meters too. You're like, I've worked through my deck a little bit. You've worked through your deck quite a bit. Obviously, you're going for count out. I mean, that for me personally, as a play strategy, is near last resort. It's when I'm sitting with some really good stops in my hand, some really good cards in my hand that maybe boost my turn rolls or whatnot. and then I'll go for it. Like, I'll give the effort going for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a gutsy move, if you will, for lack of a better term, to go for that count out. But, like, you've been successful going for it. How many times, though, do you feel like it backfires?
It has backfired, like, maybe a few times for me. And when I say a few times, I don't mean just two. It's probably been 5, somewhere in there. Most likely, a lot of people haven't beat me with count out.
10.
Or 6.
Beat you with count out, but you've won quite a bit with it. Yeah.
Yes. And a lot of times is when it's late in the game, and normally for me, count out is at least ground meter 2 or 3, I want to say.
Okay. So you're not like playing an atomic clothesline and doing it off the grid.
I'm trying not to. Well, a lot of times I don't want to flip too many stop innies and where I can't stop cards.
I understand. Lead grapple. Super hip toss.
He goes through.
Each player draws one. Just a suggestion real quick. This is a side note. I'm going to continue to talk about this. This card was confusing for our group for a while. So we played a lot of tag matches because we love tag. But it says each player draws one card. Each player would indicate each player playing the game within the game would draw one.
Yeah.
I feel like this card should probably be errated to both players draw one because that would be the actual text of the card. Because if this was a tag match, not all players, your partner, my partner, wouldn't also draw one. It would just be me and you that drew one. So it sounds like it should be both players rather than each. This is nitpicking, I get it, but text of the cards. I mean, like we were doing it to where every player in the game, if this is a triple threat, the opposing player who wasn't involved in this would draw one. So just nitpicky, but continue with your count out scenario there.
But like late in the game, if I've got a bunch of stops, yes, a lot of times I will want to go for it. Like if we went to a crown mirror 3, like I said earlier, if you got like 7 cards, I got 3, and a lot of them are stops.
Yeah.
I want to stop your lead or your follow-up. And plus, I'll even look through your discard pile.
Yeah.
It's smart. It's intelligent to know what your opponent's got.
Right.
I rolled a 6.
I rolled a 7 and my gimmick kicks.
My gimmick finally kicks.
All right.
I rolled a 6. He rolls a 7. I draw 2 and discard 1.
So my gimmick is when we roll the same skill, we both roll submission. I can pick up one from my discard pile. I'm going to pick up the sharpshooter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. So I need to immediately discard. I will discard the Fisherman Suplex because I don't think you're going to break my gimmick. And I draw one for my turn. I'm going to have to discard it once again. I'm going to discard Sleeper Hole. And I'm going to play a running face kick.
This goes through.
Okay. Because we're already at Crown Meter 1, there was something very specific I wanted to talk to you about as I flip 4 and take 1. You played one of the more intense games at Gen Con in the World Championships. And I've had an opportunity to talk to Keith, King Cold. You were the opposing opponent in that match, right? So when I talked to Keith, and in fairness, I was sitting with you. Now, you keep your hand very hidden. I didn't know what you had. But I kind of knew what Keith had by the strategy that he was playing. You get down to the nitty-gritty to where basically the next turn roll or 2 are going to win.
Yeah.
Okay? And John and Steve stopped the match because there's going to be an odd number of people in the next round. And they ask you, you can take and continue to play this game, winner wins, or you could advance to the next round automatically, both of you hitting a draw, and whatever happens, happens. Before we talk about whatever happens, talk to us about your situation in that match.
Situation, he had, what I knew was, he had a finished strike.
It's like the Tony Choco.
And he had, if I'm mistaken, I know he at least buried it. But I know he had 1 or 2 cards maybe in his deck.
Mm-hmm.
And he was about to, what happened was it came to, nitty gritty, like I said. And he had all of his stops in his discard pile, and I knew that for a finished submission.
7.
8.
You got it.
For numero uno, if opponent rolls their 10, I can grab it in my hand, which he kept rolling lower than 10. So I was like, well, I'm not bury it. I know all his stops are in his discard pile. I'm going to play a finish grapple.
He gonna
Or
play a
follow-up
finish.
guard. Sorry.
It's like newbie, man.
A little rookie mistake. But
Sorry, you got it.
I flipped 2, and I can take
All right.
one on my
I
discard.
like to see those flips.
I didn't see one with table. So we'll roll.
So nonetheless, continue. Because this was a big game at Gen Con. This really altered how at least the next round played out.
So Premier 2, and I knew he was fixing to pop a spectacle, get his finish strike.
8.
7. My gimmick will kick. And I knew what it was about to come down to. Numero uno, I wrote a 10. He rose a 9. And with, like y'all said in the other video, with Tim Broadway, he can bury 4, make his turn roll.
So before anything was decided, is this where Steve and John stop you?
Yes.
Okay.
As we were in the middle of that plan.
Okay.
He was fixing to get his finish strike. I knew what was coming. Premier 2.
Yeah.
And like I said, I had guns blazing too. I'm about to, all I gotta do is win this next turn row, which I did, but he used his gimmick, which is really smart.
Yeah.
And
because it wouldn't have been 11, it would have been a 10.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And then that's when they come to me and they're like, "Do y'all want to take this draw?"
Okay. So stop right here. Okay. There were 4 people literally standing behind Keith, telling you, do not take the deal, without words, shaking their heads back and forth. Stupid idea, don't take the deal. Keith doesn't get to see this. I didn't talk to Keith about this for a reason. Okay? Literally 4 different people are standing behind you. Do not take the deal, bad idea. I'm thinking, personally, Pink's in the next round, okay? They're going to put you, Keith, and Pink in the triple threat. Now, which would have been good news because Betty would have had a single match at the time, okay? Who was still in it. Did you just not pay attention to him? What was the deal here, man?
The thing with me...
Or did you think you were beat? I mean, because if you thought you were beat, it was a wonderful idea to take the draw, right?
Dude, really, this could have happened either way. I mean, Premier 2, he could have rolled low.
Yeah.
Or he could, it could have shattered.
Yeah.
But I was really wanting this belt.
Well, of course you do, yeah.
And, but anyway, I didn't realize my wife had won. And I didn't realize she had moved on. I didn't even know if they would have done it regular, we would have had, about
4 of us.
Yeah, 4 of us in the, going in the final 4.
Yeah.
I'm going to play a stop, and you need to stop that 718.
I like it.
And row a 7.
So for you, it was just better to take the draw, know you're advancing, know you're in the round of 8.
Yes.
Give yourself an opportunity for the round of 4. Right?
Now,
this is what I got to ask you. In retrospect, it ends up becoming Keith and Austin, King Cold and King Pink, versus you and your wife, Betty.
Yeah.
Okay? Betty, who's having an amazing tournament. Now, everybody sitting at the table had an amazing tournament. At the point, I think King Pink was undefeated. But you all lose the match in what was a wonderfully veteran move in Super Show. They had to play it properly for you all not to be able to stop the finishes that they played. Because I think it was, I think it was maybe Betty first, and you bury your hand. No, they came at Betty second. They came at you. No, Betty. They come at Betty first. You bury your hand, and then they come back to you. No cards in your hand. They've already looked through it. There's finish stops in their discard pile. They hit you. They roll. You do not tag up. Y'all lose the game. In retrospect, knowing that you and Betty would have tagged up, and that you and Betty would have lost the match. Not that all roles are different, right? But let's just say that it would all happen the same. In retrospect, do you continue to play the match against Keith?
Now that I see, the outcome and everything, and like, you said, I gotta give my wife a lot of credit. She
Had a heck of a tournament.
Well, she's had a hell of a year. She's done really good. I'm proud of her. And if I'd known, I think if I would have known that she had to be in this, I would have 7. If I would have known that,
it would have been her instead of King Pink.
Or I mean, I would rather her have her first year at Gen Con go through singles. I think because with Keith hitting me with that. She basically lost because I couldn't stop something, and
she lost without losing.
Yeah.
Well,
but I want to say in this tag match, we were going hammer time.
You all both teams played an amazing game. That was the game that I watched from starting die roll to finish die roll, and both of you all played an amazing game. So let's see it. Finish straight.
Play ETA.
But the ETA is an arm bar, and that's what you ran into. So it's a double arm bar. I'm gonna stop that. Stop finish straight. So. All in all, it was a great year for you. I think you advanced further than you had in a long time in the tournaments.
Well, see, I was top 8 last year.
So you hit top 8 this year as well. But for you, when it comes down to it, and I asked Keith this because of the Underworld title, and for me last year, in 2017, watching the woman that I love go for that chance.
Yeah.
How were you more nervous for you to try to advance to the Final Four, or were you more worried about getting Betty to the Final Four?
I was, to be honest with you.
Honestly, this is what this video cast is all about.
To be honest with you, I was like I said at first, taking the thing. I didn't realize she had made it that far.
Right, 8.
I was worried about myself really making it because I didn't even realize she was still in there.
Right.
But you mentioned earlier if I could have done things different, I wrote an 8.
Sweet bro.
If I could have done things different, I think I would have, took it and see what the outcome of me and Keys would have been.
I mean, I think either way, one of the Kings would have played each other. King Show would have played each other. You got it.
All right.
But amazing tournament all around. I mean, Gen Con was a blast. This is what, your second Gen Con, correct?
Yes.
Okay. This is something that I got a chance to ask Keith. And we're going to get King Pink back on, Austin Poe, eventually, to talk about his Gen Con experience, as he was Final Four as well. But, so you were there last year. This year, what was your takeaway from last year to this year? Positive or negative? It's okay to be honest on this show. What was your takeaway from maybe both years? Did you like this year more? Did you like it just as equal? Did you like it a lot more because Betty was there? Give us your honest opinion on what this year was compared to last year for you.
Having my wife this year meant a whole lot.
Yeah.
I've changed in the past 2 years. But I got to say I really enjoyed last year's just by the next term, which was +3.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed last year, and I got 11.
That's outstanding because my gimmick kicked.
But based on last year, I think they could do what they could, but I love the setup that we had. The big open space, and I feel like with how they were doing back then you had the little fortune cookies.
Yeah.
And bringing people in, you had a big space for tournaments and stuff like that. I think having the shop right next to the demos and the tournaments,
I think
would have really sparked a whole lot more.
I mean, I think it was awesome, but I understand why the shop was in the store because a lot of people come through the gaming area, and if you do come through the gaming area, you don't may not necessarily pass the booth. So I get it, but I agree, man. I think for me, the big ring area was an incredibly cool experience. You were playing what felt like inside of a ring, and I think it was outstanding. But I think this year was wonderful as well because I think when you got to sit down with the people, like you did a lot, I did a lot. Keith did some, Pink did some, Pat Mulligan, who just shouted him out, he did a lot as well. But, we got to demo with a lot of different players, or we got to sit down and play with different players, and it was peaceful. There wasn't people coming through in and out. So, I think both experiences, while different, very much different, I think we're both incredibly fun still. And
no doubt.
For me, so what'd you play?
I played a follow-up submission,
You know,
plus 2 the next turn roll.
just boosting that turn roll. We already talked about this in this video. But,
Got a 10.
you know, for me, you got it. I enjoy both scenarios. I was there when we were playing Raw Deal to go up there, and we happened to just run into what we found. You know, so I'm going to be happy to bury 2 of these cards.
Played an Inseguri.
They're just not wonderful. So we're going to bury 1 and 2 of them.
Working up that turn roll.
Yeah. But, you know, I think Gen Con's an awesome experience. Ultimately, for me, and I think you can vouch, you know, isn't it the community that makes this game?
Yes.
And we've played a lot of different games with you at my house or at Keith's house, but like the community of this game, isn't that what makes the game?
Yes. I mean, even like last year, meeting
7.
meeting the Louisville players, and a few of them, I got their first games was going against me, and then all of a sudden you see them go straight up there and they're buying box sets and stuff like that. And then a year later, I'm seeing people that I taught, you know, last year. You know,
You literally just told me pick it up, bro. You literally just told me pick it up. We both draw 1. What are you doing, man?
I just
You're crazy.
Yeah. But I think like it's awesome.
7.
No, it's awesome this year because I'm seeing these people that I first met last year sit there and have their own cards.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you got Louisville, we're really close to now.
You say close to, I call them mortal enemies, but whatever.
Yeah, well,
no, I'm kidding. Love them little guys.
Character-wise, we hate each other, but and all in all, as just players, we love it. We love the challenge.
They're good players, man.
Played a follow-up submission.
Follow-up sub. This man don't have a finish. I just can't get a turn roll. You got it.
I flipped 2.
I'm going to put 1 and finishes back.
I'm going to take the rerouting and put it on top.
Rerouting is what you're going to do because I'm about to win the next 17 turn rolls. Boom with a 5.
8.
I'm picking up something. So, overall, you know, we kind of talked about strategy with you. But you have a character in the game now, GPS. You were one of the first characters from KSW to actually get made. What brought about the persona of GPS? I know you and I talked a lot about it when you actually tried to go into a little bit of indie wrestling for a little bit and just didn't work out. That's cool, you know. I mean, things happen, but like you go into indie wrestling for a little bit and you were looking for a character and we talked about GPS, but this was not the GPS we talked about. You know, and when you decided on it, we had our own conversations. But what brought about GPS?
GPS was, I'm going to say, follow-up grapple, set up the table. What brought up GPS is I was kind of thinking, and my way of thinking about it was, you got the 3 kings, and
You got it.
I flip 4, and I'll take a grapple. My way of thinking was, well, the 3 kings there needs to be a faction, you know, whether kings are heel or face, there needs
Which, who
to be
knows?
Really,
who knows?
You never know. I really wanted to make a dark and really, you know, in-depth faction that would, you know, at least bring a war out.
Yeah. So you want to be our kind of like anti-people. 9. You give me kicks.
Give me kicks. And I thought it would be a really good challenge and stuff like that.
And it's been fun running against GPS. Now, because this game's gone a little longer, I'm about to sharpshoot.
I'm going to say nada.
Okay.
But
because this game's gone a little longer, and I've prided myself on this show to be truthful and honest, right? So we had some beef about GPS for a long time. And it got a little heated, and maybe it was heated for different reasons outside of just Super Show. And then, I mean, we have since obviously squashed this beef, and we were friends through the beef, but there was beef nonetheless. I was hating on your character, right? And you took offense to it, which I probably take offense to someone hating on my character. You got it, but. I thought maybe your finishes, not your gimmick, because your gimmick's good. Solid gimmick. It's a good gimmick. One of the better in the game. I thought your finishes, the combination of all three of them, were a little overpowered. Since playing with them, yes, they are three very, 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 very good finishes. Since, obviously, I don't want you to hit any of them.
Can't be stopped.
Can't be stopped. For what?
I've got 4
Listen to this.
more.
See, look, we talk about finishes being OP'd.
I got 4 more grapples into play, plus 1 to whatever I roll for set up the table.
All right. About to finish it here.
That is 11-12. Good game.
But, just wrapping this up, I think all characters have an opportunity to be amazing. I think finishes determine characters a whole lot of times. So that's where I came from on it. Okay? And, Rising Sun has still, in my belief, the best finish in the game. There's no better finish in the game outside of Rising Suns. Circle of the Sun. You know exactly which one I'm talking about. It should be, and if it's not, you're a fool, the most feared gimmick in the game, or the most feared finish in the game. Now, Rising Sun's overlooked a lot because he's the first set competitor, but the gimmick's still solid. You roll technique, which is his 9, you get to draw one, but he had that uber finish, right? And that's what separated him from a lot of guys. And, at the time I thought, 3 of those just amazing finishes. I think all 3 of your finishes are amazing. Which is a compliment, which that's kind of what squashed it. It's just, it was more of a compliment that I had to complain about it than it was an insult to you. But really like your GPS character. I appreciate you letting me help you a lot with that GPS persona. Because I know there was a lot of times that was like, hey man, let's do this instead of this when you cut your promos. And I was there, kind of coaching you through that first promo. So, I really appreciate that. And it means a lot to me to be there for you for that. I don't ever think you ever used that. But, this game's brought a lot of people together. They may not necessarily been together. I know we play basketball and stuff like that together. But, you're over at my house every weekend, first and foremost, at the very beginning, because you played this game. Right? I mean, you played this game. We wanted more people to play this game. And now you're over my house every weekend because we're friends. Well, that's what means a lot to this game has made me a lot of friends. And because of that, you're one of them. And I've got to know you better because we played this game and other games, but we played this game mostly. And I appreciate the SRG Universe for creating a game where the community comes first. And that's what this game means to me. And it's unpredictable. It's frustrating. And it's one of those where you can get really frustrated on how things go. But at the end of the day, it's a community-based game. It's unpredictable, which is great. And I hate to speak for you, but I think you feel a lot the same way, right?
The way I see it is this, this whole group, everybody that's in it, I think it's more than a group.
Yeah.
I see it as a family.
I agree. And I think I speak for Dustin, I speak for Keith, Pink, and Paige, and Angelina, and Sydney, and Philip, and Larry, and people that you haven't even met. But for us, this is a family, and when you come down to visit us, whether you're from Louisville or New York or Chicago or Michigan, you are family, So we treat you like such. We're Southern Kentucky boys. I know our promos are crazy sometimes. Yours are a little more insane than mine.
Very insane.
Very insane. Power. Right? But for what we are, man, I think we're a great, great family, and maybe a little dysfunctional at times, but all of it seems to work out at the end. So I appreciate you doing this with me. We will definitely do some more. And we'll talk a little bit more in depth next time about maybe strategy and why you play certain cards and stuff like that. That's something that I definitely want to get into. But had to catch up with you on Gen Con and introduce GPS to this podcast that we're looking for a name for. So I appreciate you joining me, brother.
Thank you,
all right, my man. All right. So everybody, please, if you're watching this and you have not played Super Show, play Super Show. Check it out, srguniverse.com, and you can check out all the details there. For those of you who know what it's all about, hopefully you enjoyed this. Please continue to comment and like, because it really is a big reason that we continue to do this. So thank you so much for that. All right, everybody, have a great night. And do you want to do it with us, GPS? Are you crazy enough to do it with us? Do you know the moniker? Can you do it?
I bet I can.
All right, let's see. I'll start it. You hit the middle line, and then we'll do the last line together. Are you ready? Come one, come all.
You peasants shall fall.
Upon bended knee, you will bow to thee.
3 kings.
I love it, brother. Thank you.